My name's Carlos Puma, and I'm a freelance photographer, and I've been photographing the wild burros out in the Moreno Valley area for the last 7 years. I don't remember exactly the first time that I photographed them, the first image I shot, but I do remember when I read the first story in the Press Enterprise. I was still at the Press Enterprise, and I read a story about them, and I always wanted to go out there. I read the story, but I couldn't find them. I would go out there and you see the signs where they're at, and you would never see them. So one of my friend John, he was out there doing a story with one of the TV stations. So I went out there and I saw them, and I was like, man, these are really cool.
From my understanding, just from my own historical background, they've been there since, what is it, I think the 50s, I believe. They're sort of this interesting phenomenon in the Inland Empire. And it was a gentleman who introduced them to that area back when Riverside County was a very sleepy area.
I can tell you the history of the burros that I know from when I started with the Bureau, and the history that I gleaned from that. Burros in Riverside County, these particular burros here in this area, when I first came to work for BLM in 1977, they told me about a herd of burros, about 40 or 45 burros that were roaming in the Ritchie Canyon, San Timoteo Canyon area. And the old timer that let them go caught these burros in the Olancha and Death Valley area out there and brought them down here, and decided that, heck, this would be a good place to turn them loose.
Well, they would go out on the desert and catch a few burros and bring them back home, and then they would take them down, release them on the desert. That was their fun.
And the burros, they're a fascinating part of Riverside County. They're a fascinating part of the Inland Empire. They were introduced to that area. They weren't native to the area, so some people might view them as an invasive species of wildlife that have been allowed to do very well in terms of their procreation. They are considered near and dear to a lot of the longtime Ritchie Canyon residents. It's part of the sort of the quirkiness, if you will, of Ritchie Canyon.
My name is David Hale, and this is my dog Luca. 3, maybe 4 years ago, we were driving up the street coming home about dusk. The whole street was just blocked with donkeys. There were approximately 50 to 60 donkeys in the street. And later I heard that they belonged to a herd of 250 that are in Ritchie Canyon, Box Springs area, which is just behind us over the mountain, and now here in Grand Terrace. As long as they're in a moderate amount, if there's a moderate amount of burros, I don't care, because the hills are wild still up there, and they stay up there a lot, and they only eat vegetation and weeds and stuff, so that's a good thing.
People probably don't realize how much land is actually back there. The Ritchie Canyon area, you see, some of the properties as you go through, you'll see your ranch-style homes, but there are many, many hills that people don't see that are not developed, and the burros are way up there.
This is the way it used to be around here before all the houses. So you can imagine how it was before when you're out here, and especially when you get, like I said, when you go past that edge and go over there, you really don't see that many houses, and you sort of feel the way, with the chaparral and all the plants, the native plants to this area. Then all of a sudden you're like, man, it's a totally different, vibe. So are they an invasive species? I think we all are, in a sense. So, it just depends how long, who's been, here longer and what they've done. The problem that the burros have more than being an invasive species is that they're so close to homes and people don't like that. That's, I think, a bigger problem to people than what they're doing to the land in that area. I just think that we as humans, whether we're Spanish or Americans or whoever brought them there, we brought them there. They didn't come by themselves. We introduced them to this area. So what can we do to help them? Because now they've been here for so long. So what do we do? It's not like they can just pick up and go.
California's been, has gone through a lot of ups and downs in terms of drought, and we are, particularly in Southern California, this is an arid sort of climate to begin with. The burros, though, are very resilient.
When burros run out of water, they can smell water underneath the ground, even in a pipe. When they do that, especially in the desert, they will dig a hole. If there's a spring, that hole will fill up with water, and all the other animals, whether it's deer or bobcat or mountain lion, or burros or whatever, they get to drink out of that. So the burro is a very, very intelligent animal, and he can help other animals too. I'm laying down in a field by myself, 1,200 flowers I threw at your house. Who cares? Who cares?
That area unfortunately has become sort of its own little highway, and because of that, it has become this thoroughfare where bad stuff can happen. Our message to the public that are going through Ritchie Canyon is to keep it slow. There's plenty of warning signs, but people are not paying attention to those signs, and that's when burros will get hurt, and also the driver can be seriously injured as well.
Well, the burros, I think, are a very unique animal. And I think the burros are an animal that they take the guff for a lot of other animals in the desert and that. But the burros were left there to survive, and they've made the desert their home. And so people should remember that they're the best little engineers. If you ever follow a burro trail up a mountain, that's the easiest way to get there. And so, like I said, having a burro, if you so choose, is kind of like having a piece of the Old West for your very own.